Chapter 39. The Future's So Bright. 2 weeks before the very last day of school was the annual senior dinner, hosted by the royal family in honor of the graduating class. Ben came to knock on Mel's door to escort her to the event. He looked particularly dashing in a new blue and gold tuxedo that matched his crown. "Are you ready?" he asked. Mel tucked her hair behind her ears and took one last look in the mirror. She was wearing a new purple dress trimmed with black lace that Evie had made her and had combed her hair just the way Dizzy had taught her. She hoped she had gotten it right. Doug and Evie had already left for the event just a few minutes earlier. When she turned to Ben, his smile widened. "You look beautiful," he said. "You don't look too bad yourself," she teased. She took his arm, and they made their way out of the dorms toward the main lawn, which had been set up with a majestic white tent for the night. Their fellow seniors milled around in their finest formal wear. Lonnie and Jay were standing by the buffet table, sampling the canapes. Jay was wearing his rust-colored Agrabah-style leather jacket with the epaulets. Carlos and Jane were talking to Fairy Godmother. Doug and Evie were once again saying hi to Doug's many cousins. His dad did have 6 brothers. "Did I ever tell you how glad I am that nothing bad happened on the aisle this time?" said Ben, as he walked her to the table. "About that," said Mel. "Something bad happened?" "Yes," she said, "except I don't remember exactly what it was. We did get away, but we need to be vigilant. Something wicked this way comes." Ben raised his eyebrows. "I'll double security right now. And we really did our best to try to convince kids to apply here," said Mel. "I know you did. I just hope it was enough." "What's the event you're planning with Evie? VK Day?" "That sounds pretty cool," said Ben. "I hope it works," said Mel. "We'll be inundated with applications." "You'll see," said Ben. King Beast and Queen Belle arrived, and everyone took their seats. Mrs. Potts had outdone herself. There was hearty beef ragout, a bubbling and airy cheese souffle, luscious and crispy roast chickens, mashed potatoes that had little pools of melted butter. It was the most decadent and delicious meal they had ever had. She was glad that Carlos and Jane had joined them, even though technically they were juniors. But as Carlos said, technically, Jane had planned the entire thing, down to the 6-course dessert menu, so it was only fair that they got to attend. Ben, who, in addition to being Ordon's king, was also the class king, stood up to make a toast. "To the best Ordon prep class ever," he said. "My family wishes you all a wonderful future." "To the future," said Jay, smiling at Lonnie. "The future," said Evie, clicking glasses with Doug. "The future," said Mal, who feverishly hoped it brought only peace and no threats from her homeland. "To your future," said Carlos, nudging Jay while he took a big sip from his glass. "My future indeed," said Jay. "I'm going to check out Sherwood Forest University this weekend for visiting day." "You've decided?" asked Lonnie. "Not yet. I want to check it out, but I'm excited to see what it's all about." "Take care," said Ben. "They get pretty merry over there, but I'm sure you can handle it." Over dessert, Evie told them her good news. "So you know how I've been making caps and gowns for everyone? I earned enough money to buy a place of my own. A home in Oregon," she said. "Oh, Evie," said Mal, reaching across the table to give her friend a hug. "That's amazing." "Wow, your own pad, huh?" "Sweet," said Jay, looking a bit jealous. "Hey!" "It's perfect. We found this tiny little adorable cottage in the woods," said Evie. "We?" said Mal with a raised eyebrow. She elbowed Ben, who covered a smile with his goblet. "Doug helped me find it. His uncle was the listing agent," said Evie quickly. "Who knew Doc wasn't a doctor? He's in real estate." "Is he now?" asked Jay, who raised his glass in Doug's direction, while Doug blushed and coughed. "What?" Evie asked with wide eyes. Said Mal with a smirk. Evie ignored her friend's teasing, and Doug tried to look somewhere else, even as his ears turned crimson. Evie ignored them, said Carlos, reaching to hold Jane's hand. Evie nodded. She was all business. Anyway, as I was saying, this solves our problem. The 4 new villain kids can stay with me over the summer. There's a ton of space. Carlos stole a bite of Jane's cake, then turned to Ben. Hey, I just realized Jane and I will still be here at school next year, so we can mentor the new villain kids. Can we? Said Jane. It'll be like having a bunch of little brothers and sisters, said Carlos. Okay, Jane laughed. Whatever you want. It's all settled then, said Mal. They'll stay with Evie this summer, and Jane and Carlos will help them out. Perfect, said Evie, looking very pleased. Now we just need 4 kids to apply, Jane reminded them. Ben pushed his slice of cake over to Carlos so he would stop eating Jane's. Don't worry, they will.